Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This time we're going to be looking at Bramhope Tunnel, which is located in Yorkshire. And just to briefly start, we've got to start somewhere. We'll start with the two sighting towers that were built at a cost of £140 for the surveyors to keep the line true. Then from the 20th of October 1845, 20 shafts were sunk to enable tunnelling. Tunnelling started after the foundation stone was laid at the bottom of number 1 air shaft in July 1846. The separate working faces were joined in a single tunnel on the 27th of November 1848 and work was completed in the summer of 1849. The 4 shafts retained for ventilation cost £35,000. The north shaft of Otley Road is 240 feet deep. The one behind Park House is 239 feet deep. Camp House Farm is 240 foot deep. And the one nearest to Horsforth Station is 175 feet deep. The ventilation shafts measure 400 feet wide by 30 feet wider than the tunnel. The finished tunnel is 2 miles, 243 yards or 2.138 miles long. Basically it's long. It has a double track tunnel with a gradient of 1 in 94. Falling from just north of Horsforth Station towards Ardington, the line enters and leaves the tunnel on a curve. Work was carried out by up to 2,300 navies and 400 horses were brought in for the work. The workforce included 188 quarrymen, 102 stonemasons, 732 tunnelmen, 738 labourers and 18 carpenters. Each day around 2,150 wagon loads of rock and earth was removed from the workings to be tipped on the wharf embankment leading to the Ardington Viaduct. Men were lowered by bucket down the air shafts to dig by candlelight. They were paid £1.50 per week to shovel 20 tons of rock and earth per 12-hour shift, 7 days a week. Conditions were constantly wet with foul air and gunpowder fumes and the danger of roof collapse. The tunnel cuts through hard sandstone, shale and clay, and there are 7 major faults in the rock near the centre point. The work was dangerous because the rock at the Horsforth end was difficult to blast and there was frequent flooding and subsidence. Now I had to read this figure twice, but about 1,563,480,000 gallons of water were pumped out of the workings between 1845 and 1849. Metal sheets had to be used to divert water inside the tunnel. Quite a bit of water in there then. For 4 years the workmen, some of whom brought their families, lived in 300 temporary wooden booths, either in a field alongside the offices and workshops opposite the cemetery, or elsewhere along the line of the tunnel. Day and night shift workers lived up to 17 per hut, taking turns to use beds in unsanitary conditions. Workers' children overwhelmed the village school. It had been built by the township copyholders and freeholders on Eastgate in 1790. There were originally 30 children, but their number increased fourfold, and a grant of £100 from the railway company, the school building was enlarged to accommodate them. The workers and their families used St Ronan's Methodist Chapel in Bramhope and the Methodist Chapel in Poole in Wharfdale. Many navies had been farm labourers from the Yorkshire Dales, North East England and the Fens, or had come to work from Scotland and Ireland. Drunkenness and fighting was such that Joss Bigley, a railway police inspector, was hired at £1.25 per week to keep order. At one time he was attacked by a group of men. And at Westcoe Hill, 2 miles away on the opposite side of the River Wharf, a riot occurred when the contractors tried to cut the beer supply off to keep the men sober enough to work. 4 of the 20 construction shafts were retained as ventilation shafts. One of the two sighting towers, a tall cylindrical sandstone structure 2 metres in diameter with 4 vertical slits near the top and flat coping stones, is still standing in the field opposite Bramhope Cemetery. The other one, now demolished, was behind Darnley Hall. About 250,000 cubic yards of sandstone and shale spoil was tipped close to the ventilation shafts along the line of the tunnel. One of the tips is an area around the Scout Hut north of Otley Road through to the Knoll. Another is south of Breary Lane. One is in a field opposite the cemetery, and another near Non-Go-By Farm. The sandstone sighting tower, the north and south portals and the retaining walls to the south portal are Grade 2 listed structures. The portals are on Network Rail land with no public access. The southern portal at the Horseford End is a plain sandstone horseshoe-shaped arch. It is approached by a slightly curved 300-metre cutting face with sandstone retaining walls. They have a concave batter, slightly projecting piers at regular intervals, and are topped with square coping stones. During the railway mania period in which the tunnel was constructed, the powerful landowners often had a strong influence on the railways being built on their land, and it was due to the demands of William Rhodes on the adjoining Bramhope and Grescold halls that the North Portal is an intricate Gothic revival castellated design. It was not simply an entrance and exit for trains, but a fancy medieval gatehouse garden feature, and after it was finished, it was lived in for a while by railway workers. It was built of rock-faced sandstone, and had 3 side towers and turrets. The keystone on its horseshoe-shaped archway features a portrait of a bearded man thought to be Rhodes. Its crenellated parapet has a carved cartouche in the centre featuring a wheat sheaf, fleece and fish, the heraldic device of the Leeds and First Railway. Records of death and injury were kept from 1847 and 1849, and grants were made to the Leeds Infirmary, and a special sprung handcart was provided to transport the injured to hospital. 5 men died in 1846, 12 died in 1847, and 7 more had died in 1849. The 24 men who died are commemorated in Otley Churchyard by a Grade 2 listed monument in the shape of the North Portal. It was erected by the contractor of the tunnel. I just point out that I have actually done a video in regards to that monument, which I will place a link to that in the description of this video. I'd like to thank you once again for listening to this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and please do start a conversation in the comments if you have any memories in regards to any relatives that worked at on Bramhope Tunnel, or any stories yourself, or just want to talk about the tunnel. Please feel free to comment. That's what it's there for. So until the next video, thank you very much for your support. Getting over 255 subscribers now, getting some decent views. There's my core people who are watching my videos, and I really do appreciate the lovely comments and the support that you're giving me. It drives me to carry on, and until the next video, take care of yourselves. And yeah, cheerio.